Hello viewers, it's Jeffrey Gaming here, and this video's just my opinion, bit of a discussion about who I think will be on the grid for the 2014 F1 season. I have got a new mic, so it doesn't sound like I've got my microphone in my mouth the whole time. So to start off, well, I don't really know about young drivers' connections with teams too much and money situations, so this grid is not mainly influenced by money, but obviously it will be in real life. So starting off with Red Bull, obviously Vettel will stay there. 3-time world champion, probably going to be 4-time. So the team's all about him really. His teammate Mark Webber, as we know, is going to retire. It's between Raikkonen and Ricciardo apparently. I think Jean-Eric Vergne has been unluckily ruled out, considering he's performed better than Ricciardo. Ricciardo's qualified better, but his starts have been bad. His results haven't been as good as Vergne's, and he's had less points, so I think that's really unfair on Vergne, but I do think Ricciardo will get it. I don't think Raikkonen will, because Vettel probably wouldn't like that. Kind of two number ones at the same team. So moving on to Ferrari, Alonso, it's his team. Even though there's been rumours with him going to Red Bull, I don't think that's going to happen at all. And he'll need someone to be a number 2 driver. As we know, Massa does that pretty well at the moment, but he's not performing at all. And I've been a big supporter of his, but lately I really think he has to go. He's not been the same since his crash at Hungary back in 2009, so I think Hülkenberg will replace him, considering he's out of contract at Sauber, and he's probably the best young driver on the grid at the moment, so I think he deserves to go to Ferrari. Mercedes, having a really good season. They've got a fast car. They cheated a little bit with the tyres, but they've performed well. I think Hamilton's been a great addition. It's probably sped up Rosberg, as they've had more competition, so Hamilton and Rosberg I think will stay there. Moving on to Lotus, who apparently have money issues. Raikkonen, I don't think we'll go to Red Bull or Ferrari, even though it's been linked there. So him and Lotus as the main driver, sign a new contract. I think they work well as a team, as a combination really. Grosjean, he's gone. I think he's really quick, but he's too inconsistent, crashes too much. And I think Di Resta would be a good teammate for Raikkonen. They are quite similar in a way. And he is a good driver in my opinion. I don't think he's good enough for Ferrari, but he does well in the Force India, outscored Sutil, so he's done well so far this season. McLaren, who've been struggling. Oh man, my team Ferrari's rivals. But yeah, Button I think has done really well this season in a pretty bad car. Perez has shown glimpses, but nothing like last season, like when he was in the Sauber, so I think they'll stick with Button and Perez, as they make a good combination and they've been racing well together this season. Force India, Sutil coming back, I think he's been a little bit disappointing. I used to think he was pretty good before he had his season out, and I suppose he's been a bit unlucky this season. Few crashes, which were probably not his fault, and a few issues with pit stops, that kind of thing. I think a good teammate for him would be Bianchi, which would be a bit ironic considering they were fighting for their second seat at the start of this season. I think he performed really well. I think first 4 races for Marussia, and it's obvious he's got speed. I think he won the GP2 series or something a couple of seasons ago, and he's a Ferrari development driver. I think he'll make the step up to Ferrari in a few years. And Force India, I think, would be a good step on that road for him. Sauber, who have got money issues as well, but I think they signed a contract with some Russian business whose son has been put into the team. Sergei Siritkon, something like that. I think it's stupid. I know he's got money, but it's not the point. He's the son of the company owner, I think. Not really sure about that. He's only 17 years old, and he'll be 18 next season. Doesn't have the super license you need to race in F1. And actually looking at his record, it's not that good. He's won a couple of series a couple of years ago. Series I've never heard of. At the moment, he's not racing this season, I don't think. No, his record doesn't look too good. Basically, he's in because of money. Oh, there we go. He's ninth in his ISR championship. Says it all, to be honest. 1 podium in 11 races. I'm going to go for it now and just say he's going to be way too slow for F1. Maybe that's being harsh, but a 17-year-old should not be allowed in the greatest motorsport. His teammate, I found it really tough for a teammate. I'm guessing they probably need experience. So on my list I've got Massa / Grosjean, who've both will be replaced at the top teams, I think. Massa's got connections with Sauber, so I think that gives him a little bit of an advantage. And I think he's probably not as quick as Grosjean, but he's more consistent. And actually, he'd probably be quite good there. So I think Grosjean might leave F1, sadly, because he's really quick and just the consistency in the crashes he's caused. A bit of a crazy guy. Moving on to Toro Rosso, Jean-Eric Vergne, who I've already talked about. I think he's a good driver. Better than Ricciardo and should be going to Red Bull, but I don't think it'll happen. His teammate, I think, will be Antonio Felix da Costa, the Portuguese driver, who I saw in a couple of races last season in GP3, and he finished third in the championship, so obviously he's got some speed, and he's also a Red Bull development driver, so it does make sense. Moving on to Williams, I think they'll stick with Maldonado and Bottas. They've had a really bad car this season. They probably got the most speed out of it that they could. They haven't done anything special, but you can't really in a slow car. Maldonado brings a lot of money, so I think he'll stick there. And Bottas, I think, got good potential. He's done decent so far this season. I'd say better than Maldonado, so he'll probably stay there with him. Moving on to Caterham, Charles Pic, who's probably been the best of the slower car drivers. Slightly better than Bianchi, I'd say. He's pretty good. And I think Heikki Kovalainen will come back. Don't see why he'd hang around the team after being replaced, personally. And he doesn't have as much money as other people, but he's a better driver. I think they should go for him. He deserves to be in a bigger team, but I think the money holds him back. And finally is Marussia. I'm going to go with Kevin Magnussen. I don't know too much about him. Just looking at his career stats, he's currently leading the Formula Renault Championship, and he's had quite a few top 3 finishes in past championships, and he's a McLaren development driver, so I think Marussia would be a good stepping stone for him. Son of ex-F1 driver Jan Magnussen, so he's got connections. I wasn't sure who to put into the second seat because obviously I don't know much about money situations and that kind of thing, so I'm going to go for who I think is the fastest driver in GP2, and that's James Calado, the British driver. In his debut season in GP2 he finished 5th. I think he beat his teammate Gutierrez, who shouldn't be in F1, along with Van der Garde and Chilton. They're all in because of money. In GP2 they were probably between 6th to 10th, so really not the quickest. And I don't think any of them have done that well in Formula 1 so far this season. So I'd go for Calado. He's done pretty well in GP2 this season. He did struggle at the start of the season, but he's the best driver. Though I could have gone for Felipe Nasr, who is also a quick driver in GP2. Probably, in my opinion, the second best driver behind Calado. So that's my opinions for next season. I'll just go through all the teams and drivers again. So Red Bull will have Sebastian Vettel with Daniel Ricciardo. Ferrari will have Fernando Alonso and Nico Hülkenberg. Mercedes will have Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg. Lotus, Kimi Raikkonen and Paul di Resta. McLaren, Jenson Button, Sergio Perez. Force India, Adrian Sutil and Jules Bianchi. Sauber, Sergei Sorokin and Felipe Massa. Toro Rosso, Jean-Eric Vergne and Antonio Felix da Costa. Williams, Pastor Maldonado and Valtteri Bottas. Caterham, Charles Pic, Heikki Kovalainen, Marussia, Kevin Magnussen and James Calado. So if you have any opinions about next season, or if your grid's totally different to mine, then please leave a comment, discuss that with me. Leave a like, subscribe, comment, J for Gaming, out.